What's up, Automation Nation? Imagine being a fly on the wall on one of my private calls with a new printing team, the kind of questions they ask, and the raw transparency that they get when I'm not doing a highlight on one specific company. Well, today you're going to get that chance because I took a meeting with a team in Australia who just bought a printer, and they were asking me many of the questions new teams often ask. In this episode, you'll get to see my truly raw and transparent analysis of the industry, the challenges, in a way that you haven't seen before on this channel. Because in my videos, I've always tried to keep it really optimistic and upbeat. And I still feel very excited about the 3D printed construction industry, but there are just some tough truths that I've focused on more off camera than on camera, and it's time to break down that barrier and let you guys see the other side.
Yep.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Hey,
how's it going?
Yes, wonderful. I can hear everybody.
Good to finally meet you. I'm David from Alliance Link Group, and this is our director, Lachlan. Yeah, glad to have our meeting.
What part of the world are where are you in the US? In Texas or?
I'm in Austin, Texas. That's right.
Oh wow, the best city in America, I think.
It's a good spot for tech and innovation.
Yeah, definitely.
Comedy.
Look, yeah. I go over to Galveston a bit. I have some land over there with a friend, so I love Texas.
Yeah, I've been down there. Good beaches.
Yeah, exactly. Look, thanks very much for catching up. I know you're busy. It's a bit surreal for us because we've been following you for years. And just everything from going to the World of Concrete and seeing online. So just, we're sort of new in the industry, I suppose. As a bit of a background, we've invested heavily into the supply side of it. So, we're building a lot of stuff, mainly in China and distributing around the world, but we're trying to develop, I suppose, the Australian market for 3D printing.
Supply of what?
Everything. So right across the board, we will be involved in the materials. We've got sort of like trucks that pre-mix the concrete. We're working with universities to run all our robots off solar. We've got telehandlers. We've got remote control concrete screeding machines and concrete troweling machines, all remote controlled.
You operated any of them yet?
Yeah. My background is concrete for the last 30 years. I used to work for the government.
But the system that you'll be selling, have you operated it?
Oh, yes. Yeah, we're operating it at the moment. You know the system. We bought a system off RIC Technologies.
Oh, okay.
We have had some issues with it, but and we're just really trying to learn. We've got 2 builds on at the moment, architectural builds. Each one of them are about, I think in square foot, I think they're called 5,000, 4,000 square foot. So quite big buildings.
Those are done?
No.
Okay.
They're on land we own, and we're literally just going step by step building.
I was going to say, I should have known about that.
No, yeah, I know. Well, believe me, if we thought we were worthy of you, we would have reached out earlier. But at the moment,
usually I see it somewhere on social media. You guys
yeah,
post
that's
something.
it. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, no, everything's been very under the radar here because we're having a few, teething issues. I'm sure other people have as well, trying to get our raw materials
across
correct.
the board.
Yeah, excellent. So, I mean, not that today was all about our supply business. It was more about understanding if you are still starting or you're being involved in this resource sharing business and whether that was people resources or just the data or the channel that you maintain.
Yeah, the Human Robot Army is specifically for it's a separate entity from Automate Construction, specifically for recruiting people to work in the 3D printed construction industry. So it's a lot of contractors who want to work with robots, or young people with degrees in robotic construction or architecture or different things like that. So I'm probably the only recruiter with a stack of resumes of people that have already printed concrete.
Yes, excellent. Yes. All right. Well, when we learned this, I was speaking with David. David is, as I said, we're very new in the industry. We've only been doing this for sort of 2 years. I've traveled. My background was I had another construction company and I sold it, and then I took 2 years to travel around the world effectively. Just doing some research of what we were going to do, and so we're sort of 2 years in. We've got our system running. We're
Like what I
having
did.
some problem with. Yeah, yeah. I'm not.
Who'd you
Yeah,
visit?
yeah. So where we're at the moment is our biggest downfall is we're young, where we don't know everything and we want to know more. And so when we heard about this resourcing or recruiting, I'm just wondering, is this a perfect um, opportunity that to see if anyone wanted to come to Australia? I know David, he wants to go to America. So, it was this symbiotic thing where, possibly there is some sort of model that we could recruit, between the countries, because it's pretty exciting to travel anyway.
Oh, no question. My audience is 60% international anyway. I'm pretty sure we have a couple people from Australia who are already in the country. I mean, you'd specifically want people from America, not Europe?
Absolutely not. What I want to do is try to develop the industry in Australia. So look, my background is government. So I've actually got more projects and more buildings that are ready to be 3D printed, but I can't 3D print at the moment because I just don't have the knowledge, the good enough knowledge. But I've literally got 70 buildings that it's been assigned to me. I've got a mining camp and a tunnel that they're all so interested in this technology, and they're investing money with me and so forth. But I just don't have the knowledge.
Yeah, I don't think anybody does, in terms of a lot of people expect it to be faster, cheaper. People say these things in marketing calls and startup meetings, but who's
Yeah.
showing the evidence of a faster, cheaper product? That doesn't exist.
Excellent. I'm so glad you said that. So everyone's having the same thing. So what are we finding on the industry worldwide? Is it are you given any feedback with costings? It's more
Yeah,
expensive.
of
It's
course.
slower. Yeah.
Everybody, before they print, I have a lot of calls like this one with you, and I'm sure you will print a building at some point. I used to tell everybody, hey, the thing everybody wants to know is how much the printed building costs. So if you share your costs with us on our channel, which nobody's ever done before, it'll be a tremendous video. Even if it's more expensive, people will appreciate so much the transparency. No other firm has given them that level of seeing through. And every single person would tell me, I'm in, let's do it. We're so excited. We're gonna be the firm to show the cost data. And you've seen all my videos, none of them have the cost data in it, so I don't even want to ask anymore. And the truth is, the people who are willing to talk about it privately behind closed doors, it's 20 to 40% more expensive on the best of days, because the people aren't trained up for it yet. You need material scientists on site. The labor isn't unskilled labor, really, and the cement concentration is much higher than typical concrete.
Wow. Okay. Excellent. I love this. This is fantastic. It's not exactly what everyone wants to hear. But I suppose, look, my business model really isn't just about, printing houses. So we want to try to, I suppose, in Australia, to see if we can do other things as well, and see if there is a market there for, landscapers to print, art, decorative pieces for the government. Is there a market there to print, culvert systems under big highways where they might have to wait 3 months to get a mold made? Can we actually do that? I'm not sure if housing is the only. Housing is what everyone seems to talk about. Like, I don't know if it's the only market. Have you got any businesses in America that are doing totally different things than housing?
Yeah, I think some people want to do windmills,
Okay.
seawalls, different kind of patio furniture, potters, all kinds of stuff. It's Wild West, so there's a lot of room. Like you're saying, I'm sure some of those ideas might work, and I'm sure some of them won't.
Yeah. No. That's life, right? So why do you think everyone is still fighting if it's 20 to 40% cheap, more expensive? Why are they still fighting for the concept? Is it because they believe it'll become cheaper? Like Cobot, yeah, they're well invested, so.
At least that's why I'm still in it. I can't speak for them.
Yeah. Okay. No, excellent. Like America, I don't know what the wages are like in America. I know in Australia it's very high. You know, anyone working with concrete's probably around that $35 an hour mark, $40 an hour mark. That'd be the same with America.
Experienced guys, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we're pretty much similar with regards to labor costs.
Maybe a little less here in like southern states like Texas. It's cheaper, labor's cheaper.
Okay. All right. Okay, so we're really it's about a dream of the future to become good at it, and we can maybe get down. What am I right in understanding? It's still about the architectural differentiation, where you can design things, that are more. What do you call this?
Yeah, there's a million angles to make it work, whether it's R&D, a marketing expense, you're getting the curved lines out of it, you're getting added environmental benefit. What I'm really after is just more cost-effective construction. And so anything that doesn't meet that bar is kind of disappointing, but we'll get there. We'll see. There's still prefab was marketed as faster, cheaper. It's not. Prefab is usually the same cost, maybe a little bit faster. But you're shifting most of the work off-site, so things happen faster on-site maybe. And so they do a lot of prefab, even though it's kind of expensive. So there could be room in the market for something that's not necessarily cheaper. Who knows?
Yeah. What about faster? Because I mean, obviously, there's all. It's no, not.
You're
Is
just
it not
doing the
faster
walls.
from a, yeah. Okay. So just doing the walls, it's not faster. Okay. Is anybody doing the foundations and things like that?
Yeah, some people have printed form work for the foundations, and then maybe you hook a hose up to the printer so that it's kind of pushing the concrete, but you still got to float it by hand.
Yeah. Okay. What about as a combination, like where you can actually not just do the walls, but you can, have these other, not robots, but, remote controlled troweling and remote controlled leveling and like trucks that you can mix your own concrete on site, things like that.
What about them?
Is it happening anywhere else in the industry over there?
Oh yeah, everybody's trying their own innovations and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. But not sure about it, the impact yet. Okay. I look, I mean, we're going to be no different to everyone else, I suppose. Well, guaranteed. Humans are the same, probably. So,
they're all different, in my opinion. They're all different. Everybody tries unique stuff, and that's the best part. If they were all the same, my job would suck. But as long as everybody keeps trying new things, it's okay that the technology isn't there yet, because every step matters. It's just getting there.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, forget about the 3D printing thing. It's not as if we're going to just stop or just keep fighting the fight. What about this resource into between the countries? Do you have anybody that wants to come to Australia?
Well, that's only right now for 3D printing. So it's only sourcing jobs for 3D printed construction companies, but you got the RIC printer. So that would make you eligible for sure. I am pretty sure we have people in Australia. I can double check. I'm working with a girl who's a professional recruiter. She knows all the right questions to ask about what you guys are looking for in the roles and stuff. She was mad at me when I tried to handle one of those meetings myself and I didn't have the right info. So if you guys are interested in that, we can hook you up with a call with Nicole and get you the details on the Human Robot Army stuff. But it's basically a 10% fee because we're new to it and wanted to undercut all the other recruiting companies. And I market it from my audience at Automate Construction. So they all know what they're getting into. Other construction companies hired for 3D printed concrete, and the people thought it was going to be push a button and you get a house. They don't realize it actually is a lot of hard work and grit, and it's a real construction job with concrete. The people, my audiences, they know what they're getting into, and they got that kind of extra passion to keep them going on the hard days.
Yeah. No, for sure. Look, we all pump concrete and we all get dirty on the day we have to build, so that's for sure. But we are close. We plan to start on the 15th of November on this build.
Wow, soon.
Yeah, definitely. Look, I mean, I've invested a bit. We've got the land all cleared. We're just waiting on permitting from council. We're building a little bit different. Like an architect, which works for me, he's it's not like the square homes that you see anywhere else in the world. Like this is going to be like an architecturally, pretty much like using the 3D print like a formwork.
Good choice.
So there'll be we're going to be backfilling a lot, but we've also built or come up with a truck that we mix our own concrete on site and batch it. So instead of having, you know, ready mix coming to site, we're actually doing it on site, which we save about 40% in the concrete. So, I mean, like everyone else, I suppose, we're hopeful that I don't care if we're not cheaper. I mean, I'm charging the same as what I'd charge a normal build, but I really need to become a little bit quicker. So all the houses are going to be identical, but they're going to start from a very architectural design. So yeah, anyway, we'll see how we go. Yeah. I'd
I
love to
visited-
know.
RIC has
Okay.
a print in Muscatine. They did one house, and the print quality was really good.
Yeah.
I
Do
saw
you
in the
know what
videos it looked like they went really slowly though.
Very. Have you spent a lot of time with RIC? Do you know them?
Yeah, I've hung out with those guys a few times. I visited them once or twice in California and had a beer with them in Austin when they came to visit one time. I communicate
Yeah.
with them maybe quarterly or so.
Yeah, cool. I think they use Elquist, right? They RIC. I think it's more Elquist that do the building, and then maybe RIC supplies.
They
But
worked
anyway,
with
yeah.
Alquist. I think they both had crew members on site for that one build, but they were supposed to do 10 homes and they only got one up. And now it looks like Alquist is going to Colorado. They were supposed to do 200 in Virginia. They got 2 up. Alquist is like a all talk.
That's what Elquist was going to come to Australia, and I said, look, I didn't think it was going to work, but yeah, I'm glad you told me that actually. Thank you.
Which is a lot of companies. It's like Elon says the Cybertruck
Yeah.
was going to be here 3 years ago. Where's my Cybertruck? But I still,
Understood.
Elon's great. Alquist does great work too. It's just how it is. Like
Yeah.
that's the startup world.
I think at the end of the day, it comes back to what we're talking about here is we like David and I and Howard, which is in our team, I suppose, that are just putting together this first one. We make plenty of mistakes, right? We go out and we print and we work hard and we get up and then, you know, something fails.
It's the name of the game.
It's the depth of the knowledge, I think, that's going to make a difference. And that's why I'm interested in seeing if, you know, I can financially make something work to bring someone across.
Have you talked to the Hive 3D Builder guys?
I have not.
They'd be good to talk
I've
to.
been super quiet. Really?
Because
Yeah.
they're the only group with a batch plant mixer truck like you described.
Okay. Excellent. I would love to talk to them. I mean, I don't know how open the industry is. Over in Australia, we feel like, well, we're worlds away. So
yeah, those guys are pretty open. I think they'll probably want to talk to you. Should I just give them your email?
I would love it. Absolutely, man. That'd be so kind. So
Cool.
Yeah, definitely. What about putting tents up? Have anyone started doing that in America? Like full on, you know, tents over their builds so they can.
No, they haven't done that. I don't think in America. Some groups have done tarps for shade in Phoenix and Texas. I haven't seen any tents. The tent is like $20,000 or $50,000 for a big tent like that. So that's really a big challenge to make work from a cost perspective.
Yeah. I manufactured mine in China and I shipped them to Australia, but they're big inflatables, so you can put them up in a day and pull them down. So a little bit cheaper, I suppose. But again, we're all it's all good in theory, and I can spend the money, but until I print everyone a house, you know, I'm just like everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, in theory, you scale up one day, you make 1,000 of these systems. So if you buy the wrong stuff for the first system or the second system, it doesn't matter down the line as long as you figure it out.
Yeah. Who do you think is the most on top of this? Is it a Cobod?
No way. Cobod has no idea what's going on. They sell their printers and then it's like who knows what happens next. It's they figured out how to make the printer and they sold it. That's it. They don't operate it themselves.
Right.
There's a lot of R&D that's just totally on the customers. So, and that goes for all the companies. Nobody is like doing much better than that. The ones who seem like they are, it's because they're not sharing a lot. Like I'm here in Austin, but I only get to visit Icon a couple times a year because they're not showing so much to the public. I'm sure they're having a lot of struggles. All the other groups are. They've spent a lot more money. They have things like, it seems like air conditioning cooled in their hose as it's being delivered for the concrete so that it doesn't heat up too much. And a lot of other cool, like a truck for mixing on site, of course. And then you have Diamond Age too. They're doing all kinds of different automations with I think 9 different tools they're up to out of 27 tools they want to put on their gantry system.
I saw that. Yeah, that is pretty cool. Yeah. I mean, look, I struggle with Rick, to be honest, like, because, and look, I probably shouldn't struggle as much knowing that everyone is,
Yeah, it's
at the
across the
same
board.
position. Yeah. But when you spend a lot of money on something, you go, shit, can you at least get us a manual? What plugs into what, that sort of thing. So, but anyway, that's what we're all working on, I suppose, and working towards. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's tough, man.
Um,
Sometimes I'll be on like a route to film a bunch of companies and stuff will happen, whether the material went bad or things, prints don't always happen when they're supposed to. Almost everything gets delayed twice as long as it's supposed to be, but it's just how it is.
yeah. Wow. Oh, what a game we decided to get into.
Construction's like that too.
Look, construction is archaic, like, I mean, in Australia here anyway, it's like, it seems everyone's got a plan. They get out on site and they kick the dirt a bit, and then half the guys don't turn up here in Australia because they're it's very lifestyle driven, but in Australia there's definitely problems in construction across the board. So, yeah.
America too.
Oh, no, excellent. All right, mate. Look, I really would love some information. And now I know that you're over there. I come across to the States at least sort of once or twice a year,
Cool.
generally to line up with World of Concrete or something else. But yeah, look, those other guys, Hive, I'd love to have a chat to them for sure. We might be able to share some intel. The way I see this is the more I can share, whether it's manufacturing, tips, or products out of China or anything, it's only going to help us. We're struggling at the moment. We don't even, our print material, like, we're bringing stuff in from America, and it's costing us a fortune because
That's
I haven't
funny. You
got
guys are bringing stuff from America. People bring stuff from Europe all the time from America. I wonder if they might be shipping it from Europe to America to Australia. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy, and I'm not 100% sure why it's so difficult at the moment, but certainly, Rick doesn't want to give us the secret formula, so we're needing to solve those problems soon.
It's hard to find the right ingredients locally. You need really dry mix, and a lot of the parameters can be unreliable. So you order a certain size aggregate, it's not exactly the same, and on a regular site it doesn't matter, but printing is so sensitive, it does matter. So they probably just
Yeah.
don't want to go through that whole process of sourcing the material. I know that in the past they've been able to develop their own mixes to some degree, but they didn't use them for the house they were going to do in Muscatine. So it's, the whole thing is so unexplored. There's no hard evidence on a lot of these claims.
Yeah, look, we're just looking for what the basics, ingredients are. I've got the biggest concrete company. They're owned by Heidelberg here in Australia. They're doing all my bagging. They're doing all my mixing and testing. They've actually even given us a part of their national network to distribute for it. But the problem is, like, I'm still learning what needs to go in each of the mixes. Now, yeah, I've got some
way too much cement. Start with that.
Yeah.
45%.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. What, and geopolymers, have you had any sort of luck or feedback over there? Obviously,
I'm not sure I believe in those yet.
That's what the university. So the University of Queensland, they're doing our testing and partnering with us. They gave us a grant or whatever. And when I went and said, "Oh, what about geopolymers?" They pretty much told me it's a myth. It's other. It's not geopolymer. Other. They call it something different anyway, but yeah, they're still trying
There's
to
alkali-based reactions and silica-based reactions, and some people will say one or the other is or isn't a geopolymer, but I am suspicious about the whole thing because it just looks like cement, and they say all this fancy stuff about how the silica gets rid of the water concentration, but at the end of the day, they're still just mixing it with water and letting it cure like concrete. It's red sometimes, it's white sometimes, but concrete can be dyed. I gotta see. I'm not a material scientist, but it's very suspicious.
Yeah. Mate, I love the honesty. I really do. I really appreciate.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a journalist because I need primary sources to believe stuff. So unless someone really needs to drill it into my head for me to get it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, don't worry. Yeah, like it's just an interesting journey, but I just, there's been so many people that haven't just been straight. Like it's all good and well to buy something from someone and ship it into the country and develop it. Like we've got now KUKA, direct saying, oh, well, if you build, because we're building them onto trucks. So we're doing it a bit different. We're building them onto trucks and trailers. So we do nothing in a factory. We've got everything onto trucks and trailers. David, actually screen share if you can, because I don't want to hold you up too long and I'll let you go, but I'll just show you some of the things that we've built and just
Do I have to do something to make that possible?
No, I think
You guys
David,
it's your meeting.
Yeah, David will screen share.
Yeah, I'll send it to the chat if that's probably easiest.
I just realized you guys were recording. Please don't publish this.
Oh no, definitely not. I just need to try to. I didn't know what we could find out today, so but it definitely wouldn't publish. We're not even on social media yet, so just letting you know that we are holding everything back until we get it right. And then the first person we'll get over, or see if we can, will be you.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that.
What about environmental, Jared? Are people interested in this, like driving off solar, or is it real, or do you think it's all just another marketing gimmick?
Environmental.
For you guys?
Yeah, instead of having generators and so forth, running all your systems off solar.
I don't know. I've never seen that. Can solar do 3-phase?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I've done it. I just built it. I'm gonna. Yeah, David, I've only got 2 photos there. That's of the trailer, but
yeah, I've seen the rig system. Is it the same trailer they have on their other? Or you have a custom trailer?
No, this one's not. But I haven't actually even seen their trailer. They haven't.
I don't know if it's a trailer or a track system. I guess I saw.
Oh yeah, I think they've got a little buggy or a track system.
So this is different.
Yeah. So this just goes on the back of a pickup truck or whatever, and you can just take it to site and move around. Actually, it's exactly the same as that last upload you did with the muddy robot.
Oh, the rail.
Yeah. So you can see there's we've built a container pod that's wrapped in solar that drives the robotic systems and drives the pumps and everything. So it all runs off the sun.
Very cool if it prints.
Oh, look, it drives everything. We just need to get our mix right. And because we're kids at it, we don't know what we're doing. We're going to need to either get someone who knows how to 3D print and work with them, or we'll just learn the slow, hard way,
Yeah, I like how much different stuff you guys are trying. Everything, basically, all the pieces of equipment, you're just going right for it.
Yeah. And because we're sort of lucky, like I know America doesn't like China or vice versa. In Australia, we're so close to them, and in Australia, we've got no factories. So we're like this barren land, I suppose. We're cattle farmers, but we don't really have factories to manufacture our stuff in our country. So I've got 6 factories in China that I do everything, all the remote control technology, concrete machinery. I get it made there, rebrand it, and then ship it to, whatever location.
Most American companies do that too.
Oh, okay. David, have you got any more photos, mate? Like of the mixer truck.
Yeah,
they talk like they don't like China sometimes, but obviously, like RIC has no problem doing business in America.
Yeah, exactly right. America's like a power nation. So if you were into any supply and you're not doing it in America, you're foolish, I think. Yeah. So so that's the mixer truck, which is very different to the truck that you had on your show, your podcast.
Yeah, that was Hive, I think.
Yeah, Hive. Yeah. So this particular one, you buy the unit, and then you just have the raw materials on site, and it's all calibrated. So you just pick up each of the raw materials that goes into the barrel, and you mix it dry. So you have 5 ton of dry mix, and then you pump it straight into your pump. So it drops into the pump and mixes with water into your pump.
So you need to dose it yourself.
Correct. So you dose the water yourself, yeah.
And the different cement and aggregate.
Yeah. So you literally have each of those materials, and as you pick it up, it measures it, and you put it into your calculation, obviously, and then you keep it dry in there, so it doesn't matter, how much you use.
You got a material scientist?
Yeah, well, at the university. I'm not one.
Nice.
Definitely not. Yeah,
We'll need it.
but at the university. Yeah, and we've just employed not an engineering, a civil engineer, and he's doing his PhD in in materials. But again, we're
Perfect.
not there, Yeah. So, but this concrete. So over here in Australia, we're $300 a cubic meter, or $250 a cubic meter. We can produce it with this machine at $100 a cubic meter.
If you can print it, that's good.
Yeah. That's and when you say that, I keep thinking, I wonder what he means by that. If you can print it, but as in the consistency.
You don't know if, like, you're doing that cost analysis, but you don't know whether that mix is going to work yet. Nobody ever knows if a mix is going to work yet until they print it in that region. Like even Heidelberg, who mixes, tests, does all their stuff in the lab, they go somewhere new, they try to mix their material, it doesn't work the first time. So nobody has. Cool. It's hard for me to imagine anyone getting it down to $100 a yard just because nobody's done that yet. So maybe there's something you guys could do.
No, absolutely, and I'm more on your thinking than what we are.
But I believe people are going to improve stuff. Like there's no question it's going to get better. So maybe there's no reason to think you guys wouldn't be the team to do it.
No, we'll just.
Does that include our additives in that calculation? That could be skewing it. We might have.
Yeah. Sorry. So with regards to this machine, so we're not just printing. I don't believe you can save enough to just print the walls. So my idea is, I believe 3D printing, the value in it is everything else as well. So the driveway that goes to the house, the slab. So with this machine, we can do the slab, and with the automatic laser leveling machine, we can laser level the slab without so many people on there. So I'm more looking at the whole picture of the build rather than just doing the walls, only because our wages in Australia are huge, but plus it's hard for us to get skilled labor.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting when we do this to go, okay, and we're going to make so many mistakes. The first build is going to be so ridiculously expensive, but it doesn't really matter because we've got sort of like it's a medical facility, so they're paying like well above what they'd normally pay, particularly what we're building for them. So
it's a good use case because they're usually very airtight buildings, and I know that's important to medical facilities.
Correct. Yep. So we're doing the shell, and then they go and fit everything else into it. So, but look, so that's some of our stuff that we're doing. This solar drive is what's getting us the traction. Like we got a grant for it, only because in Australia they're really, especially the big construction companies, if you can show building zero impact on the environment, they're very interested. But again,
I know the real innovations in the truck.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so getting it right is going to be important.
It's a big deal if you can mix on site. Nobody's doing that really, except for Hive, and some of the best mixers are doing mix on site.
Yeah, well, that's that volume truck. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Hive is using a volumetric grout truck.
Yeah, so they have to send that out from a factory, don't they? They don't own the truck, or they do?
They own the truck. They bought the truck and they send it to the concrete plant, load it up with concrete, and then mix the it gets the dry mix loaded up, and then they mix it with the water on site, I believe.
Correct. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, it's going to be so interesting to see if it works. That's for sure. But anyway, it's all that's the game at the moment. Look, I don't want to hold you up. It's 10 o'clock, so I don't know how much time we allocated. But look, I really appreciate your honesty, mate. It's been refreshing.
It's good to meet you guys.
Hopefully we can stay in contact, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. I would be remiss if we didn't, especially if you guys get printing. Hopefully you guys get lots of footage. And even if I'm not able to make it to Australia, you guys can just send me some clips and I can edit something together that gets you on the page.
Yeah.
Record everything.
Yeah, definitely. We're recording everything from start to finish.
Excellent.
Yeah. All right, mate. Thank you very much. I really appreciate your time. It's been great.
Likewise. Looking forward to next time.
All right. Thanks, Jared.
Later on. Nice to meet you too, David.
Bye.
Thank you, David.
Was that freaking cool or what? And the funny part is they even left in what they said after the podcast. So let's see what they said about me.
All right, mate.
Cool. Anything?
What's that?
Oh, sorry. Yep, go.
Yeah. So, oh, look, that was not really what I thought it would be. But it's the first catch up, and I think
Cynical.
yeah. I suppose because I've seen so many videos of him and like he's acting on stage, you know what I mean? Because that's his business. He's got to, be excited, and this is what they're doing, and it's all this and that. He has to keep up that sort of level of enthusiasm. But I suppose because he's been around so long, it is what it is. Like we're all humans, and he was just being honest then.
Mm. Oh, yeah,
Which is so,
but
yeah,
it's useful.
which is
It's useful.
it's very useful.
In a way, these guys are totally right. In my videos, I'm kind of acting and portraying the industry in a positive light. And I'm certainly holding back some punches, but you can tell in a video if somebody makes a claim I don't agree with, I'll always make a point to call it out or mention it. My excitement for the industry is very real. I believe in the future of construction automation. That's what got me in it 4 years ago, and that's what keeps me working on this every single day. And that's not stopping anytime soon. The best way to move forward is with truth, transparency, so that people can focus on the important problems to solve and go ahead without worrying on or relying on bold, unproven claims to get investors. That's really just not the way a mature industry behaves. So now, as 3D printing takes over the world of construction, it's time to level up some of the sales strategies, focus on the true aspects of the industry, and explain to investors that it will be R&D that unlocks the 100x or 1000x startup type returns that you see with scalable technology innovation, like construction's never really seen before.